Well, we're here. We made it past 100. Some people weren't sure if that was going to happen. We thought about just show 100. Nah, we're done. But no, we're here. That's Logan. I'm Craig. Follow us on our social media down below. For those watching, those listening at a later date, will be in the descriptions. Been lacking on the chapters in the descriptions. Not sure if it's going to happen this time either. So if you want to skip ahead to the football or the basketball talk, feel free to do so. It just might be a little bit tougher than it has been in previous episodes because there will not be chapters on this one. Thanks for joining episode 101 of No One Asked Us. Episode 8 of season 3, quote unquote. Third time doing this. Thanks for hopping in. Football, obviously, some football talk. There will be basketball talk. There was a game to actually watch on Friday night and a big one to preview. I don't know how much of a preview we're going to do because it is exhibition, but Illinois plays Kansas on Sunday, and that is going to be fun to watch. And interested to see how in depth both teams get with this because it is an exhibition, but we shall see. That's Logan Lee. How you doing today, Logan?
Craig, I'm doing well. It's great to see you. Happy Monday. No, things are good. Morale is high, and ready to. I don't know anymore. No, we're good. We're good, man. How about you?
Hey, I'm chugging along.
Yeah,
chugging along. You know,
how's morale?
I'm counting down the days to a golf trip, man. That's just what's happening right now. Counting down the days to a golf trip.
When is golf
Thanksgiving,
trip?
the week before Thanksgiving, and then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then we're just counting down right now, trying to make it to the end of the year. But we're here.
Yeah. It's time.
Let's talk some sports.
Okay, great.
Did I miss anything? I feel like I blew through like our intro. Normally we kind of catch up, but I feel like there's not a whole lot to
Social media. I don't know.
Okay,
we love the fans.
Let's just jump in. Yeah, if you are consuming the content right now, get in the chat. This is live. Get in the chat. Hello. Ask us questions. Tell us hello. Any kind of thoughts that you might want us to talk about or converse with you about, get in the chat, and we'll try and answer some questions as we go along if they are pertinent to what we're talking about. My question for you, Logan.
Great.
And this is going to guide the show. This is the biggest question I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Do we lead with basketball? Is it time?
Sure. Why not?
Well, I knew you were going to say that.
It's basketball season. No, we have to lead with football. There's one more week of football. I think next week we can probably lead with basketball. But no, there was an interesting football game on Saturday that I do think deserves some of our discussion point, at least to start the show. I will be totally honest with you before we get started. Didn't watch a ton.
Okay.
Didn't watch the game, the Friday night basketball game. Didn't watch the Saturday game. So I can chime in. I know what happened. I'm
a lot of prep work.
Fully aware of the incident and the downward spiral that happened on Saturday. Was listening, but but no, I do think we need to, unless you want to start with Michigan football. We can start with Michigan football. Do you want to start with Michigan?
We'll get to it. We'll get to Michigan. Right. And I asked you that the answer, we were going to talk football because I don't remember if we had it on air or off air. South Bend Hawkeye, we'll get to what happened. But me and Logan had a conversation through text about a whole speech that Logan had ready for last week.
Yes.
Are you ready? Did you give the speech? Are you ready to?
I kind of alluded
tweeted
to it. I alluded to it in the show last week. I pretty much did say what I was going to say.
I feel like it's time, right?
Yeah, and I tweeted it out. I'm tired. I'm done pretending to care about Illinois football. I just am. As I said last week, I'll watch when it's on. I'm not scheduling my day around it, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to speak to this audience like I am. Because I'm just not. I was at home with visiting family. It was on TV. Honestly, I'll tell you, Craig, second half, my dad and I took Lennox to the park. We ran around the playground, got some energy out. The game was playing in the car radio next to us, so we could hear it.
Yeah.
I was listening while the big incident took place with Johnny Newton.
Yeah.
Was reading Twitter, saw the reactions. Noticeably, I did not see anything from you. I was very curious as to why you were so quiet during the moment. But no, I mean that's just.
I love that. That's your thought. Like, wait, okay. Do we need to do a what's it called? Wellness check? Do we need to do a wellness check on Craig? Is he okay when Illinois football's collapsing? Like, is he alive?
I mean, that's genuinely what's happening. Yes, I'm genuinely just trying to check on you to see what sort of reaction you have, and you're trying to get out of the people.
Well, I will tell you, watch the first half, like full in. Watched the first half, but I also had something I had to go to, a somewhat engagement party. Bridal shower type of party for
congrats
for a friend down here who you know, but I don't know that you know. So I had that, and so as the collapse was happening was my getting ready, and I had to go to the liquor store and grab something, so I wasn't fully invested in the second half. So I didn't see the play live, but I saw the reaction and saw the replay. I'm gonna say it, and it's opposite take of all of Illini Nation. By the book, that's targeting. Do we agree with it? I think probably 70% of college football would say you don't need to throw that flag, or that doesn't need to be targeting. But as it's called and been called this year, that's targeting. What the issue is that Johnny Newton, I about called him Johnny Football, which maybe he is Johnny Football this year. Johnny Newton was having the best game of his career, and that's saying a lot for that kid, because he has been one of the best defenders in college football the last couple of years. He was having the best game of his career, and PFF graded him as the best college football player from the week last week with a grade of 95.1. So when the targeting happens, as you know, that's an automatic disqualification. He's out for that game, but he's also out for the first half of the next game. So that's where the collapse happened. I don't remember exactly when it was in the game. It had to have been the third quarter, I think, or was it the fourth quarter? Do you know?
I think it was the third quarter, but I don't quote me on that because I'm not positive.
The last thing I paid attention to and saw was Caden Fagan's 12-yard run, touchdown, 21-7 with 4.5 left in the third quarter. That's the last thing I was fully invested in. I was like, okay, Illinois kind of got this game. They're controlling the ball on the offensive end. Wisconsin's not doing anything defensively. I think we got this. So I kind of put the phone, because I was in the liquor store watching on the phone when that happened. I put the phone in the pocket, kept the game on, but kind of tuned it out a little bit. And then I get to where the party was, and I look down, and it's 21-18. I'm like, oh, what? Under 7 minutes left in the game. I'm like, ew. This is kind of getting out of there. Then I saw the Newton stuff, and I mean, it totally changed the game. Was it targeting? Going back to my initial thought, yes. Does the targeting rule need to be revamped? I think 99% of the college football fan base and the players and coaches and world, not college football world, I think 99% of people say that it needs to be revamped a little bit, where maybe you don't throw them out unless it's egregious. You can tell when it's bad enough to throw someone out of the game. This wasn't. And like Brett Bielema said in his post game, they taught their guys to get their hands up and go for the ball, because they said they noticed that the quarterback was kind of loose with the ball in the pocket. And if you watch again, Newton knocks the ball out with his hands, hits the quarterback before his helmet hits. And it wasn't even helmet to helmet. He kind of hit the shoulder and grazed up into the helmet. So yeah, it was just a unique call that changed the course of the game. It really did, because after that, Illinois got no pressure on the quarterback, and they scored 18 fourth quarter points. And Wisconsin beat Illinois 25-21. Illinois now 3-5, Wisconsin 5-2, and they're kind of back in control of the West because the refs interjected themselves in a Big Ten West game in Iowa that Minnesota ended up beating Iowa. So that's kind of the long way around it. that Illinois was flagged for targeting on the quarterback in the third quarter, the best player in college football last week, Johnny Newton, thrown out of the game, and it just turned the tide. And Illinois was not able to do anything offensively after that, and defensively wasn't able to get pressure. And Wisconsin got a 20-yard pass with 7:21 left, and then the game winner with 27 seconds left was a 3-yard pass to a defensive lineman. Did you see the highlights of their 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter?
Yeah. No, I think I was watching at that point.
The first one, the 20-yard pass to Will Pauling. How does that safety not at least knock it down?
I know.
Like I was at the party watching that one on my phone, and I saw it happen, and I look up thinking that he knocked it down, and then 20 seconds later I look back down. I'm like, oh wait, what? How did he catch that? The safety was under it. So that's a terrible play on the safety. I don't know. I think it was Tyler Strain. Terrible play on his part. And then the last play, I mean, as soon as they got the ball back with that much time, and there was a 3rd and 10, I think, or a 3rd and 12 with a couple minutes left, and they gained like 30 yards. At that point, I knew it was over. But that play, they did a whole bunch of moving and shifting, and it ended up a defensive lineman, number 93, ended up eligible. And they did the whole, he fake blocked for like 2 seconds and leaked out, which I saw on Twitter. There was also some talk about that being an ineligible receiver because they thought that they might have lined up wrong. I only saw a couple people say it. I thought it because, anytime a 93 catches a pass, you're like, you got to make sure they're lined up right, or else that's illegal. They didn't flag it. And that was it. It's just like, it happens every time. Illinois goes 8-4 last year, and I think we talked about it in the preseason. Other than the 2 years that Beckman took the team to bowls, they went 6-6. Illinois has not gone back-to-back bowl games since like the early 90s. Yeah. Like this program just does not have 2 good years in a row in it. It's impossible. And I said the same thing last week. This was your opportunity for a Big Ten title berth. And you just, pardon my French, we're putting the expletives on this episode. You just shit the bed for the season and on Saturday. And that's how they had the biggest crowd since 2017, I think, 2018. They had like more than 50,000 people in the stadium. They probably won't have more than 30 the rest of the year. Like, people they're going to give up,
Yeah. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. It's frustrating. I said it. I mean, yeah, between last season and this season, you're going to have wasted a lot of talent. The discussion I had with my dad over the weekend was the number of first round picks and All-Americans that Illinois basketball and football have had in the last 5 years for it to ultimately amount to nothing when it comes to like postseason. Yep. Basketball's had some regular season championships and a tournament championship, but like football's gotten nowhere other than a meaningless bowl game. And I'm not expecting Illinois football to be playing for a national championship or playing in a playoff. I mean, I'm not even, in a 12-team playoff scenario, I'm not putting them in that conversation either, but put yourself into a position to compete in a very weak division. Yeah, you should be able to do that. And they just have not been able to do that. The amount of talent that has come through this program in the last few years, first round picks, All-Americans, players in, long list for Heisman winning seasons, like nothing. You got nothing. And this is just another example. It's just, I speak for a lot of the fan base, I think, when I'm just over it. It's basketball season. I don't care. I just don't. That's just how it is, and it's how it's been for a long time. I kind of get a little excited before every season starts, but ultimately here it is, October 23rd, and I'm out. I was out even before they had the big win last weekend. I was out, and I'm I'm over it. I'm out. I would love for you to dive into the conversation you started with me yesterday.
Okay. I mean, that kind of leads to, I was going to make one more point, and they kind of tie in together.
Great.
So I think most of us that listen to this show, us specifically that do the show, and most that listen, remember a point on October up until November 4th of 2022 where Illinois football was 7-1.
Yes.
And top 20 in the college football playoff.
Correct.
Since that day, Illinois is 4-9. They finished last year. They finished that season limping to a 1-4 record, and obviously lost in the bowl game. And they're now 3-5 this year. I texted Logan yesterday, and this is not my stance in concrete, put it in stone. But I'm starting to be in the camp that I'm not sure Brett Bielema can. I think I'm out on Bielema. I think.
Yes.
And that's exactly where I'm at. I just don't know, because I think he's the perfect guy for the program. From Illinois, his most success has come in the Big Ten. He was great at Wisconsin, and he was good at Arkansas. If he had his Arkansas results at Illinois, Illinois fans would be fantastic. I just don't know. And I don't know how to verbalize it.
Well, let me ask you this. So there was an article in The Athletic this morning from Ari Wasserman about Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
And Ari basically laid out the fact that he has kind of been hard on Penn State the last few years. Thinking, saying they should be better than they have been, all these things. But he used the article to ask the question, essentially to Penn State fans, what are the expectations for this program? Are your expectations to be a top 4 team and playing for a college football championship? Or are your expectations to be the third best team in the Big Ten every year? What are legitimately your expectations for this team? What are your expectations for this Illinois team? I mean, what is it?
6 to 8 wins.
I mean, 6 isn't out of the question.
No, it's not. It's not. That's why I'm on the fence with this.
I mean, I get it. The fact that, especially the last couple seasons where the Big Ten West has been fairly winnable, and you've had the talent to do it. So I get it from that standpoint, and I agree. But moving forward, what are the expectations in the Big Ten? Because starting next season, what do you want to see happen? Yeah. I mean, it's not realistic to think that Illinois is a contender. So I'm not saying that I'm one way or the other when it comes to Bielema. I'm not ready to jump ship. You made the comment last week about the coordinators and changing up the other members of the staff, and the Bielema is not on the hot seat and all these things. And I think you were right with what you said last week when we did this. But I see where you're coming from, and I don't think you're alone. I think there's a lot of people that are in that camp. But again, I ask, sure, 6 to 8 wins is a good mark to get. I think you can still get to 6 wins. I think that's certainly in play. But you have it's both Northwestern and Indiana on the schedule.
Yes.
Correct. So those are wins. You'd think.
Minnesota and Iowa.
And then so maybe you get Minnesota or Iowa. Probably not, but maybe. Iowa's offense is horrendous. So, you find a way to score 15 points and you're going to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm on the fence, is because the season's not over, so I'm not going to cast full judgment yet. But Bielema has this reputation, and also this is the main thing. And I texted you this, and then you ghosted me. But the main thing is, Bielema has this reputation, and he did it in year one at Penn State. They did the barge package where they had like 8 offensive linemen, a quarterback, and a running back. He has this reputation for just pound it down your throat, and they've really not been that. Altmaier hasn't taken a snap under center, which here it is, the one time a season. The group chat is like, does the dude not know how to? Like, does the center not know how to snap the ball with the quarterback under center? Like, when it's 4th and 1, why are you in shotgun? But he doesn't do that ground and pound stuff anymore. It's kind of more of a, not spread, but the quarterback's in shotgun and there's read options and all that. So it's not really the Bielema ball of old, So it's sustainable. So that's why I'm on the fence. I don't think that system plays in this college football. But what he does now, there's nothing wrong with it. They're running it and passing it kind of the same. It's just, I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it.
Do you think that they're playing that style of football because he has more weapons on the outside than he does with the running game and an offensive line? I mean,
that's true. They did pound Chase Brown more than any other running back last year.
Exactly. Like, if you have that, but I mean, I don't know that the offensive line is necessarily a strength of this team.
No.
And we talked about going into the season. I mean, I think your best offensive weapon is a receiver.
Better.
So
the offensive line has been better the last couple of weeks.
It's gotten better. I don't know. That's just kind of an idea, but I don't disagree with you. I certainly think something is changing or needs to change or something. Yeah. But again, moving forward after this season, I don't really know what the expectations are. So if
it's going to, no matter what happens the rest of this year, this offseason is pivotal.
Oh, for sure.
They can't approach it the same as they did this year. They got to get some bigger impact guys in the portal than what they did last year. So, okay, I think that's enough with Illinois. They're on bye this week, so no game. No game to watch for Illinois this week, and then they go to Minnesota on the 4th. Speaking of Minnesota, in last week, did you see the ending of that one?
No, I heard somebody talking about it at work, but I didn't see it.
You didn't see what happened?
No.
I think the score was 12-10 late in the game. Minnesota was punting to Iowa. Cooper DeJean, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Stud for Iowa, back to return the punt, and he was doing the whole, it was short, so he was pointing.
Yeah.
And he started waving his arm like, get away, get away, get away. And it bounced, and he fielded it and returned it for a touchdown. But the ref called it for improper fair catch because when he was waving his arm, the ref thought it was a fair catch, but it wasn't even close. Like, for a fair catch, it has to go above your shoulder, I think. And this was like down by his waist. Like, the Big Ten officiating is just horse shit, week in and week out. Bielema was very, very upset and vocal in his post game and said that we'll be appealing the Newton thing. And like, he's like, I'm just sick of opportunities being taken away from us. I feel like all 14 teams can say that. Just the Big Ten is so bad, officiating wise. So Iowa gets screwed. They lose to Minnesota 12-10. Michigan just do you see how bad did we actually get beat graphics that guy does?
I didn't see it this week.
The Michigan State one was just astronomical.
I'm
49-0.
Yeah,
it was
it's bad.
Bludgeoning. Rutgers, they get their 6th win. They're 6-2. They beat Indiana 31-14. Nebraska beats Northwestern 17-9. And then Ohio State 20-12 over Penn State. That one was
it a good game?
That's what I was trying to say. Like, I don't think it was a great game. I don't know that a lot of people expected a 32-point total. I had the under, so that was one of my few bets that I won this week. I got murdered gambling this week, but I had the under there, and it really wasn't even that close. 20-12. Penn State scored late. It was Ohio State just put clamps on Penn State. They couldn't do anything offensively. So we'll see what happens in the next couple weeks. But right now, Ohio State and Michigan seem to be battling for the Big Ten as the two undefeateds. This week, Indiana goes to Penn State. Maryland goes to Northwestern. Minnesota hosts Michigan State. Purdue and Nebraska and Lincoln. And then Ohio State at Wisconsin is the nightcap on NBC. Illinois, Iowa, Michigan, and Rutgers have byes. Let's get into this now before pick your pick. You mentioned Michigan off the top of the show.
Yes.
So there's some things going on in Ann Arbor.
Correct.
First of all, Jim Harbaugh was suspended the first 3 games for cheating, doing illegal things on the recruiting trail. And we South Bend Hawkeye in the comments here talking about the referee from that game apparently is not a fan of Minnesota or not a fan of Iowa. I feel for you, South Bend Hawkeye, on that one. That's a screw job. That's a screw job on y'all. And I don't like giving Iowa compliments, but I'm on your side on this one. Anyways, Michigan had Harbaugh suspended first 3 weeks for illegal recruiting stuff. Now
illegal
they're
hamburgers.
Illegal hamburgers, which I think didn't it come out to like $50 or like 100? Like it was barely anything. But this one seems more serious. The more details that come out, and I don't know what the punishment's going to be. I don't know how they govern this, but Pete Thamel had an article just within the last hour or two. He came out with a lot more specifics. Basically, a staffer at Michigan was buying tickets and sending them to other people that weren't affiliated with Michigan, I don't think. Just people to go to future Michigan opponents, sit in the stands as a fan, and with their phone, record the opposing sideline as they're giving their signals, which in college football, you can scout certain ways. This is not a way that you're supposed to scout your opponents. Thamel had a bunch of details that I think the guy bought tickets to the Ohio State Penn State game on Saturday. This just 2 days ago. The tickets were not used, apparently. That no one sat in those tickets, probably because
I didn't see that part.
Because this had gotten out before then. So they're like, probably shouldn't use those. But it said that he would get tickets about the 45-yard line, either opposite of the team that Michigan was playing, or if in the future they had both teams on the schedule, they would be on both sides and they would record the coach's signals or the players' signals for their plays. I'm more intrigued by this than maybe any college football story in a long time, because I just feel like they could bring the hammer down here. I really feel like they could. Will they? Probably not. But this could be juicy.
I'm really curious how it affects polls and things, because college football, like AP poll and college football playoff poll, or that's not a poll, I guess that's more of a ranking, but like other sports,
people are going to rank them lower because they think they're cheating.
I don't know. I mean, I know that now we have the college football playoff. It's its own thing. So like, they're not using the AP poll, but I don't know. Like, how do you factor that in? How does that stuff get into the equation when it comes to, because again, what I'm getting at is college football is the one sport where the playoff is ultimately decided not by there's 4 teams make this playoff. So
a group of people decide who have a chance to.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. It's not, I mean, I guess you have the selection committee for the basketball tournament and everything else, but it just seems it's a little different with college football with how this stuff is determined. So like, how does that play into this season? And when it comes to, I mean, sure, if they run the table are undefeated, I mean, I don't know. Do you have to put them in if you know they're cheating? Like, I don't know how this is going to play out, because the NCAA will take their sweet time with figuring everything out. It may be 3 years before we get any sort of sanctions on this. Yeah. But how does this play into this season is what I'm curious about. Because
yeah, so the article by Pete Thamel says that this dude, his name's Connor Stallions, was on the Michigan staff. He purchased tickets in his own name for more than 30 games over the past 3 years at 11 different Big Ten schools. He cites sources at 11 different league schools, told ESPN. He said an opposing Big Ten school looked up in-stadium surveillance video for a game earlier this year, and sources said the person in the seat of the ticket purchased by Stallions held his smartphone up and appeared to film the home team's sideline the entire game. And that they confirmed that Stallions purchased tickets on both sides of the stadium across from each bench for Ohio State's game with Penn State on Saturday, but they did not get used. So this is kind of serious.
What's the word you used? Juicy?
Juicy, yeah.
It's
juicy.
Definitely juicy.
Because, I mean, like, this isn't the same, but, like, I feel like Michigan is there's always something with Michigan and trying to push the limits or do something illegal. Like, is there, like, a precedence for a repeat offender type of thing? You would think.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where I wonder how many people are doing this type of thing, but not to this level, probably. Are they just doing it, doing more than other people, or did they just get caught? Are they getting caught more? Yeah, it's messy. It is certainly messy.
I'm not a huge article reader, but I am likely going to read this whole article. I only read half of it before. The first rule in question is scouting in opponent stadiums, which has been in place since 1994. So you're not allowed to, like, in high school, I think, like, coaches are allowed to go, like, for us at Pinckneyville, if we were playing DuQuoin in 3 weeks, we would have an assistant go watch Nashville play DuQuoin on Friday when we're not playing or something like that. You're not allowed to do that in college. You're not allowed to fly on your off day or fly anyone out to scout in person. The second potential rule being broken, evidence of which had not been reported prior, could mean that Michigan violated Article 11, subsection H of the NCAA rulebook. Any attempt to record either through audio or video means any signals given by an opposing player, coach, or other team's personnel is permitted. So, like, there's nothing wrong with one of your coaches on Saturday at Illinois standing there watching the Wisconsin signal callers during the game, trying to figure out, if they touch their head, they're running to the right. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you record it, that's when you cross the line. So, yeah, there's a lot here. And I think I could read this and talk about it for hours, but that's not our place to do. But I'm very excited to see what happens to this, because anything bad for Michigan is good for the entire world. Anything else college football related?
No.
Does Caleb Williams suck now?
Is he still the number 1 overall pick?
I had that thought. Like, is he fading legitimately? Watching that game Saturday, is he fading? He looks terrible.
Between his play on the field and all the stuff that's going on off the field that he said or asked for, regardless of how old the story might be. I don't know. I feel like he's still probably the number 1 pick, but you have to be a little more concerned, I think, if you are Chicago or Carolina, whoever's going to end up with that pick. But he's definitely kind of falling apart. I don't know if it's all him or if that's just the system that Lincoln Riley has built. I don't know, but things are not great at USC right now either.
Yeah. I was going to look up. Texas, Quinn Ewers is out for a couple weeks. He's got a sprained AC joint. Arch Manning is not the likely candidate to take over. A guy with a last name of Murphy. I don't know who that is. But Texas squeaked by Houston last week. Looking at championship odds, Michigan and Georgia are now tied as the favorite for the national championship. Plus 250, Ohio State plus 700, Florida State plus 700. And then a big gap between Washington, Oklahoma, Alabama. They're all about 13 or 1,400.
I mean, if you are a voter or if you're on this committee that ultimately decides some of these things, does this factor into your opinion on Michigan?
Probably a little bit. I would have had them at number 1. Now I don't know. I think they'd probably be like 3 or 4 now. I still think
I'm curious.
I still think they'd be undefeated. I don't think they need to do this. That's the thing.
No,
like
they don't.
They're Michigan. They're a powerhouse. There was no reason for them to do this. So I still think they're one of the top 5, currently probably 3 or 5 best teams in the country. Yeah. That's where this all rubs. But JJ McCarthy, as someone just mentioned, he is now the favorite for the Heisman at plus 250. Michael Penix plus 300. Jaden Daniels plus 300. And then a massive gap between Bo Nix, Jordan Travis, and Dylan Gabriel. I kind of like Florida State's odds at plus 700 to win the Natty. I'm not going to lie. Kind of like those. Okay,
I don't think there's a clear favorite right now. So
no. Okay, where are we at now? Okay, that's it for college football. We are gonna do some picks here. Time to pick your pick. Not a good week, Mr. Lee.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad.
You went 2-4.
Yeah,
you're now 19-11. I went 3-3. I'm 21-9. Logan.
Whoops.
Logan got Alabama over Tennessee and Wisconsin over Illinois correctly. He was incorrect in Iowa beating Minnesota, USC beating Utah, Clemson beating Miami, and West Virginia beating Oklahoma State. I got Florida State over Duke, Ole Miss beating Auburn, and Kansas State beating TCU. I was wrong on Illinois, Wisconsin, Penn State, Ohio State, and Miami, Ohio, and Toledo. So, brings us to this week. Again, I've said it last week. I feel like there's not a lot of good games.
We're at that weird point in the season where there usually is a couple weeks in the back half of the conference schedule where you're going to have a kind of a
couple duds
of a week. I don't know why it's like that, but yeah, there's not a lot of great matchups.
So normally I'm very good at picking, like putting these in with each team's records and the spreads and the game times. I didn't do that except for 2 this week. We're picking Oklahoma at Kansas, Duke at Louisville, Oregon at Utah, Tennessee at Kentucky, Oregon State at Arizona, Georgia at Florida, Ohio State at Wisconsin, Colorado at USC, UNLV at Fresno State, and I just threw this one in there, Iowa State at Baylor. Because I know you like Chip and Joe, and it was
I do love spread. Chip and Joe. Believe you said USC. It's Colorado at UCLA.
I do that all the time. I get Ohio State and Iowa State mixed up. Yeah. So just a reminder, if you guys haven't listened, there are those 10 games. We each pick a game and pick that game, and then the other person does not. So there's 10 games. We each will pick 5, and they will all be different. Next year, we might pick against the spread because, I don't know. We might change it up next year. But Logan's first since I went first last week.
Georgia. No question. I mean, listen, I wouldn't say I'd be shocked if they get upset at Florida. It wouldn't be the craziest thing to happen. Florida's not all that great, and Georgia is probably the best team in the country. So if Georgia loses this game, a lot more important things are on the line. So I will take Georgia.
Everything you just said,
you're going to say about Ohio State?
It, and I'm saying about Ohio State over Wisconsin. The spread's 14. It opened at 9. I don't know if Vegas knows something, but I feel like this spread should be about 25. So yeah, I'm going to take Ohio State at Wisconsin just because I despise Wisconsin after last week.
All right. So those are the easy ones. Where do we go from here? I know I'm out, but that's a big number.
Oh, are you talking about where my cursor was?
Where your cursor was? That's
I didn't even mean for it to be there, but as soon as you started talking,
no, I know. I'm just pointing it out. The UCLA is favored by 17
Yeah.
According to the number I pulled from ESPN.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm out on Colorado. It's not what it was. 17 still feels like a lot, but we're not picking the spread. I'll take UCLA.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Colorado.
If I was picking against the spread, I would probably take Colorado, but we're not. So I'm taking UCLA.
Okay. I think Colorado might pull a upset here. I really do. Okay. I am going to go with a team. I'm going to go with the team. I'm going to pick a team. Give me Oregon on the road at Utah. I don't love it, but
really?
I like this Oregon team. And I just don't trust Utah quite yet. I know it's in Utah. Where's their campus at? Is it Salt Lake City?
No, like
Provo's BYU.
Provo's BYU. I don't remember.
Yeah,
it might be.
Anyways, I'm gonna take Oregon. I don't love it. I'm probably taking it too early, but I'm gonna take Oregon to beat them.
It is in Salt Lake City.
I know Utah is tough, Jay. I know. And normally I like Utah, but I just like Oregon a lot more right now.
All right. Fun. I'm going to take Oklahoma. At Kansas, favored on the road. I'm not sure Oklahoma finishes this season undefeated and makes the playoff, but I don't know. I think they're better than Kansas, so I will take Oklahoma.
I like Kansas. A
Great.
lot.
Great. Well,
been here before. Who are the two teams that we should never pick?
Missouri.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who the other one is that you're talking about right now. Oh, Kentucky.
Never pick the Wildcats.
Never pick Kentucky.
Give me Tennessee.
Never pick Mizzou.
Yep. Tennessee.
Good pick.
I don't think Kentucky's very good. And I don't think Tennessee is as good as some people thought or nearly as good as last year, but I think they're better than Kentucky.
All right, so what have we picked?
I picked 3 road teams. I don't love that.
So, okay. So I've taken Oklahoma, I've taken Georgia, and I took UCLA.
Sure.
There's a big one down in your area, in your town.
There is. I would love to go.
Sure, I have a ton of confidence in that game right now. There's one more that has a fairly decent size spread. I don't know enough about either of those teams to really feel comfortable there. I'm going to take Oregon State at Arizona.
Arizona's playing good ball right now.
I don't care. Arizona or Oklahoma State. Nope, Oregon State. Oh.
You got the Beavers, I got the Ducks.
Quack, quack.
Okay. So we got Duke at Louisville, UNLV at Fresno, Iowa State at Baylor. I will go with Cardinals. I will take my team. Actually, I'm wearing a Cardinal shirt today.
Have you disowned your other Cardinals for this Cardinals or?
Like St. Louis Cardinals for Louisville Cardinals?
Yeah.
Oh, no. We're getting Aaron Nola. We're getting Yoshi Yamamoto, and we're getting Blake Snow.
Okay, moving.
We're gonna be fine. Yeah, Cardinals. They're gonna beat Duke. Duke's offense or defense is legit, but I don't think Louisville loses at home to Duke.
All right. I'll take Chip and Joe.
I knew it. I left
Baylor
it for
Bears,
you.
baby. Yeah, love it. Love Waco. Chip and Joe. Baylor. Go Bears.
Okay, that leaves me with an easy one for the last pick. Fresno State, 8.5-point favorite at home. They're clearly the better team than UNLV. UNLV's, I think they qualified, I guess is the right word, for their first bowl game since like 2000. So I'll take Fresno State. Logan, this week, you've got Georgia, UCLA, Oklahoma, Oregon State, and Baylor. I've got Ohio State, Oregon, Tennessee, Louisville, and Fresno State.
Sounds great.
Yeah, let's see if we can do better than last week, man.
Probably
both on here and in the sports books, because I got just taken to the woodshed.
And probably just in life.
Yeah, we need to do better in life, you know? We're to that point. Okay, basketball.
Yes,
you didn't
there was
watch
an exhibition game. I saw the highlights.
Okay, that counts.
Okay. No, I was at a high school football game on Friday night, so no, I was relying on you to provide me insight at
I forgot about that
halftime, and you were not very helpful. At the moment, neither was the Illinois Twitter account. So no, I did watch the highlights. I do have some thoughts. I do have some takes. I'm excited to talk about Illinois basketball. But no, I did not watch the game, and I did not watch the game in its entirety.
Okay. I've got the box score. I want this blanket statement out there for anything we say in the next 20 to 30 minutes. This was an exhibition game against an NAIA team. None of it matters.
Correct.
Okay. I was looking at minutes. I was like, Marcus Damas scored 20 points. No, he didn't. I was looking at minutes. Terrence Shannon led the way with 18 points. He was what he needed to be. He was dominant when he wanted to be and played just consistent. Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn, 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists in 17 minutes. Impressive showing in a lot of late minutes for Gibbs-Lawhorn. Amani Hansberry, 14 points, 12 rebounds, 6 of them offensive in 14 minutes, 7 of 9 shooting. Again, a lot of late minutes against an NAIA team, but 14 and 12 is pretty good. He is just energy personified on the rebounds. Luke Goody, 11. Justin Harmon, 11. Coleman Hawkins, 10. Quincy Guerrier, 10. Marcus Damas, 8. Dane Danger, 8. No one else really in the points column. Ty Rogers scored 2 points. Sincere Harris did not score in 11 minutes. 8 rebounds for Ty Rogers, though. 3 assists. Marcus Damas had 8, 6, and 6 in 20 minutes. He had 5, 5, and 5 at halftime. I tweeted that. I was like, that is consistency. That's what this team needs. So I think the biggest takeaways for me were Damas with that stat line kind of filling all the boxes. And the shooting was, it ended up being kind of lackluster. They were 14 of 42 from 3 for 33%. But at one point, I think it was up to like 38% or 36 or 38%. They were actually shooting the ball really well. Luke Goody hit 3. He did end up taking 10. So he was 3 for 10, which isn't great, but he did make 3. Coleman Hawkins had a couple nice ones. Marcus Damas hit a couple. And it was good to see Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn hit 2 to add another weapon out there. But I think those were probably my 2 biggest takeaways was just Damas, the consistency, and the 3-point shooting. Hand it to you. What thoughts did you want to verbalize here?
A few things. Number one, I don't think this is a hot take, and I don't think this is a new take. But I'm going to lay it out here now. I want it to come from me. I think the most important player on this roster is Marcus Damas. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Terrence Shannon is the best player. He is their All-American candidate. Coleman Hawkins needs to be a veteran leader who's played with this program, who can do a lot of things on the court. We know this point guard situation. We know a lot of things. Marcus Damas is going to be the most important player on this roster this season. What he can do is what this team needs. Is he a point guard? No. Is he a dead-eye three-point shooter? No. But can he help facilitate and move the ball around? Yes. Can he shoot the ball? Yes. I think he is going to be a very vital member of this roster. Yes, Craig.
What do you think was my most common used phrase about this basketball program the last 2 years?
Competent. Oh, that's football.
Oh, that is football.
There was another one that we used a lot. What was it?
This team goes stupid.
Yeah.
Yes. They go stupid. And Marcus Damas doesn't.
I think the fact that this team is older, this team has experience.
Yeah.
Marcus Damask, Justin Harmon, Quincy Guerrier. These aren't freshmen. These are fifth-year seniors, fifth-year transfer, whatever. These are like 30-year-old players.
There was a moment in the press conference where it was Damask and Hansberry, and I think it was Jeremy Werner, asked them about it had something to do with experience or age. And Damask is like, I've been around a while. I'm 23 years old. And he looks at Imani and says, well, he's like 17, 18. And Imani goes, I just turned 19. And Marcus is like, see, I've got like 4 years on this kid. Like Damask he's played some college basketball before. He knows how things work.
And I get it. He came from a mid-major. I mean, there's going to be plenty of that out there.
Mid-major in the world.
He's good. He's a good player. He could have gone to a lot of different places. He's the type of player that had Illinois not gotten him, he would have gone to Wisconsin and he would have lit Illinois up, and we would all have been bitching about it throughout this season. That's the type of player he is.
Remember, I went to Arch Madness. I heard then that Marcus Damask to Wisconsin was a done deal.
Yeah. And he would have tore it up there.
Yes.
He would have been.
They just didn't have a spot because they had their whole team come back.
Yeah. So I think he is going to be a very vital member of this roster.
That I will argue with you on that one. I don't think he will be the most important. I think he will be important, but I don't think he's the most.
Okay, not named Terrence Shannon.
Okay, yes.
Okay, I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, I know who the best player on the roster is. He's a second-team All-American for a reason. Like, yes, I get that. I'm not stupid. But
Damask is the X factor.
Yes. Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Because again, we know what Terrence Shannon is.
Yeah.
Like, he is a All-American wing. When he wants to, he's gonna drop 20 on you. Like, that's just what he does. I'm hoping and praying that him and Coleman had heard the feedback they needed and are ready to take the strides that they need.
Yep.
But Marcus Damask is, sure, X factor. Love it. Great way. Second thing. Again, didn't watch the game. Only watched highlights. Only looking at stats. Are we a little concerned for Sincere Harris?
As far as?
Well, I mean, I like Sincere. He was a important piece to this roster. Last year at certain times he did a lot of great things, and maybe that's just the role he's going to have. But I'm looking at this list of guys and list of minutes, and
he's the odd man out.
He's the odd man out. I think 100%. I think you got. I mean, depends. The whole Ty Rogers point guard thing might play a factor in this, but I think Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn is going to find more minutes. I think Justin Harmon is going to find more minutes.
Yep.
I don't think Nico Moretti is going to find more minutes, but if he does things, from what I understand, from what I have seen, that this team does need.
Moretti?
Nico.
Yes.
I would love it if Sincere could just continue to play the role he played last year. Just be the spark plug off the bench. I just fear for his minutes. And
that's exactly what I was going to say.
I think that would be I don't want to start having this discussion right now. But that was just one thing that I noticed.
He brings you nothing offensively.
No, nothing.
He's a total liability offensively. But where he is going to be important is December 9th against Tennessee. Zakai Ziegler bringing the ball up. Get Sincere out there. Get Ziegler totally rattled. November 14th against Marquette. Tyler Kolek, one of the best players in the country. Throw Sincere on him. Get in his jock. That is going to be Sincere. He is going to be the guy that when – I don't know that this is a fair comparison because no one could stop Jalen Pickett last year when he scored 45 on us. When Jalen Pickett's scoring 45, throw Sincere out there. He's got 5 fouls to give. He's not going to play 40 minutes. He's got 5 fouls to give in like 10 or 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Let him be aggressive. Bump him around a little bit. That's going to be Sincere. If he scores 3 or 5 points, great. Yeah. But Sincere's not going to have a 25-minute average per game.
No. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. I mean, we know the issues. The shooting is still not great, and it probably won't be great. So you're going to rely on some other things. But yeah, I think that's basically my takeaway.
Yeah. So basically, Friday night we learned nothing. We have a box score to look at, but we learned nothing because that team was just like me and you could have played on that team. So there's that.
I mean, you were a state champion.
No, not true.
No.
We got 4th.
How far did you get?
We got 4th.
Oh, that's not.
I scored at state.
Oh, excuse me.
Not a state champion.
Who beat you?
We lost at the buzzer to North Lawndale. We missed a 3-pointer at the buzzer that would have sent it to overtime. And then we lost to Olney East Richland. Yeah, they had a 6'10" dude, Keen Toman. They beat us twice that year. They beat us in our holiday tournament, and then they beat us at state.
That's interesting.
We were not in the same super as Olney. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I thought that'd be a weird team to see.
I believe they went to the Central Illinois, Oakwood,
they would,
wherever that was, and we were in Carbondale. But enough about my high school accolades. There is a big one on Sunday.
Yeah, as big as exhibition games go.
It might be the biggest exhibition game of all time, at least for us Illini fans. Bill Self returning to what he knows as the Assembly Hall, what is now known as the State Farm Center, for the first time since leaving in 2004? 3.
Yes.
He left in 03 because Weber's second year was yeah. So since 2003, the first time that Self will be in Champaign for a game. I mean, Kansas is the preseason number 1. Did Jalen Wilson come back? Do you know? Or did he leave?
I don't remember.
I'm going to look up their roster right now. Because that's the one that I'm not sure about. He left. Okay.
They're still pretty loaded.
Yes, they do not have Jalen Wilson, but they do have DeJuan Harris Jr. still. They do still have Kevin McCullough. They still have KJ Adams. They added Nicholas Timberlake, I believe, from Memphis. And also, they added 1.72 center from Virginia named Hunter Dickinson. Cannot get away from Illinois.
Heard of him.
Our buddy Robert Rosenthal tweeted some screenshots of of quotes in the past from Hunter. Do you remember some of these?
I gotta find the tweet you're talking about.
Hunter Dickinson on Illinois Fans at Big Ten Media Day. Quote, "They just act like they're some powerhouse in the Big Ten, and they're really not. Says they're, quote, kind of annoying, but does give them credit for being a good team at the moment." This was in 2001. Hunter Dickinson on Illinois' Big Ten title claim in 2001 or 2000. That would have been 2021. Yeah. 2021 when Illinois won more Big Ten games, but they gave the title to Michigan because they had a better percentage. He said, "If they want to claim their Big Ten champs, I guess Iowa can do the same. Wisconsin might as well put Penn State, Maryland. Anyone can be Big Ten champs if they want because this is a COVID year." Also, quote from October 2021, "Illinois fans are pretty annoying. I'm not going to lie." Also, a quote from no date on this one. He said this on his podcast with Barstool. "This is not a shot at Illinois basketball. It's a shot at their fans." Hunter Dickinson has never beat Illinois. For the record, he is 0-for against Illinois. And he will remain 0-for against Illinois unless the two teams meet in the NCAA tournament because this game doesn't count for anything. So Hunter Dickinson will have never beat Illinois unless in March they meet in the NCAA tournament.
Yep. That's a thing.
What are your thoughts for Sunday?
Are
you going to watch this one?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yes.
You wanted to go. Are you able to go?
I'm not going back now.
Okay.
Originally, I was going to go back this weekend instead of last weekend. And if that was the case, I probably would have gone. But no, I will not be there. But this game is on Big Ten Network. So I will be watching. Absolutely. I would have watched Friday if I was at home. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for this game. I mean, the Hunter Dickinson thing aside, like anytime you get this type of game, it's you don't see these exhibition games. This is a really good Kansas team, as you mentioned. They're the number 1 team in the country to start the year. Bring a lot of talent back. You brought in probably the best transfer. He was the best transfer. And Nick Timberlake, who was thought to be one of the best guards on the market. So like Kansas is loaded. So I do think you can learn some things from this game. We weren't able to learn much from the Ottawa game, but I do think you will be able to take some things away from an exhibition game against Kansas.
100%.
How will this game be approached by both staffs? Probably similar to what we saw in the Ottawa game. Everybody's going to play. It's they're going to try to. It won't be equal minutes, but they're not gonna risk some things for an exhibition game before the season even starts. You do not want you don't want a redo of what happened last year with Luke Goody. That was also against Kansas in a closed door scrimmage. This one is open to the public and will be televised on television. So, obviously I'm excited. And then you add in the Hunter Dickinson factor, which I love. I love that he's coming back to Champaign one more time. I really wish he would have been in that video when they announced this game a few weeks ago. That would have been great. He loves stirring up the fan base, and I know it's an exhibition game, but can you just imagine if Illinois beats Kansas on Sunday, beats Hunter Dickinson again? It would be phenomenal television, even if it doesn't count. My expectations are fairly low. I think Illinois is good. Again, it's an exhibition game. It doesn't count. Don't anticipate them winning. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun regardless. And as I said, we will be able to actually learn some things this time around.
Yeah. I will note, this is not a normal exhibition game. This is the charity exhibition game. All the proceeds going to Maui from the wildfires from, has that been a month now? A little more than a month ago, probably.
Yeah.
So going for a good cause. I think Illinois has done this one other time. It was the Eastern Illinois game in 2017, I believe. So going for a good cause there. And when it was announced, I said it on here. I would love more than nothing for the Illinois fans to just fully embrace Hunter. Since the game doesn't mean anything, I would love for them to just give him standing ovations and just shower him because he's never legitimately beat Illinois, which is awesome. But yeah, I agree. It's going to we are going to learn some things. We are, but I don't know how much, because like I said in the top of the show here, I don't know how much run they want to give Luke Goody because he did break his foot last year in a game against Kansas that was a close secret scrimmage. You don't want that to happen to a guy that you're counting on in an exhibition game. So I believe it'll probably be a very good crowd. I don't know that it'll be a sellout or anything, but I believe it'll be a good crowd. It is on TV. It's exciting. I would love for Kansas to be an actual opponent, for this to be a home and home game in the future or something like that. Will it? I don't see it happening. I don't know that it lines up with either program at the moment, but for them to come together for this is really cool. And for them to do some good about it is really cool. There was something else college basketball related that came out today. Did All-American team come out today or something like that?
We have seen All-American teams, yes. AP came out today. It's the
same as all the others.
Yeah, it's Dickinson, Baycott, Kolek,
Filipowski, and Kolek. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Shannon's a second team All-American from several outlets. So that's kind of cool.
I'm excited, man. I was watching Friday, and in the past, I've been more of a football guy, but I'm like excited for the NBA this year, and I don't know why. I'm excited
I mean, like when you say in the past you've been more of a football guy, but like when did that change for you? Or is it like just changing now?
What do you mean? Change?
Well, you said in the past you've been more of a football guy. Yes.
Just this year, like just within the last week, watching Illinois Friday, I was like, I'm pumped for basketball. Normally, I'm like all in on football until bowl season gets here, and it kind of dies off for a month, and then we get the national title and all that stuff.
But
just in general, like I just want to watch basketball now.
I've never been like that. I have always been
basketball first. Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
excited.
even though I bitch constantly about Illinois and like when things aren't going right, that just means so much more to me than anything football related. So I think that's probably where it comes from. But speaking of NFL, anything happened? I don't think anything really happened.
No, nothing huge of note. I don't think.
I mean, the Bears got to win. Agent. Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah.
It was just a win. They dominated. It was never in question. They did it a week late. I got embarrassed the game I was there. I think this is still Fields' team. Obviously, I think he's a couple weeks away from returning, but when he does, it's I just hope that they learn something. Like the play calling was so much more competent.
It's your favorite word?
It was competent with their backup than it was with their starter. Like it just doesn't make sense. So I hope they call it the same when Fields comes back than that they did with Bagent. But Bears still are in line for the number one pick because of the Panthers. Let's see. Last night the Eagles and Dolphins game was pretty great. What are your thoughts on the tush push? Did we talk about this?
I'm fine with it.
I know.
I have no issues with the tush push.
I am too. Why is the world like it's not a football play? Like, what do you mean? They line up, they snap the ball, and they
push.
They go. Yeah.
Like, what does it matter? I don't know. Exactly. I'm fine with it. I have no issues.
It's a health and safety issue, apparently. Whatever. It's freaking football. Fantasy wise, how you doing? You doing okay?
One team's really bad. I'm already selling. One team is gonna compete. Although this week was, I entered into Sunday with a pretty good sized lead after Thursday, and my projected win. I was projected to win by like 50. And throughout the day on my drive back, I just kept glancing and noticing that lead was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then we both had quarterbacks going last night. I had Jalen and he had Tua. And when I woke up this morning, I had like a 5-point lead going into tonight. And we both have a defensive player tonight. So
it's hard for
but that league,
It's hard for defensive players to score.
Yeah, I mean they usually get about 6 to 8 points a game.
Yeah. So if your guy just has an average night,
I should be fine. But yeah,
who's your defensive player?
Jordan Hicks, linebacker for the Vikings.
Okay.
And I don't remember who he has.
Not the closer for the Cardinals?
Huh?
Not the closer for the Cardinals?
No, not that one. And he has Danielle Hunter. Danielle? Yeah. It's Danielle.
It smells like Danielle. Spells like Deron, but it's I forgot. Is that right?
I don't know.
Darrell.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Spelled like Daryl, but it's pronounced Darrell.
Yes. Anyway,
one of my leagues. I know we talked about this when it happened. Nick Chubb.
Adam.
Picked up Devon Achane week 2, I believe. IR. Chubb out for the year. Achane IR. Traded for Kyron Williams, IR. Other running back is Josh Jacobs. Only scored double figures 3 times, I guess, but not a great year. And then luckily I drafted Jonathan Taylor. So he's been coming. But my running back room, man, is in shambles. Yet I'm still 5-2.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do because if I lose like the next 2 weeks and I'm like 500, do I continue to push or not? Another one, I'm moving to 4-3. Had Mahomes, scored me 40. Had Tyreek Hill, 25. But we changed the kicker scoring rules this year in this one, and I'm totally against it, but I don't know why we kept it. So normally, you get 5 points for a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah.
So if it's a 59-yard field goal, you get 5 points, but you also get 5.9 more for the yards. So a 59-yard field goal turns into a 10.9 point field goal. My kicker scored me 43 points.
Oh, Jesus. That seems excessive.
Yeah. So
okay,
I'm above 500 in all. I'm in 5 leagues. I'm above 500 in all of them at the moment. So it's been pretty good.
That's wonderful.
But I
love that for you.
I did have to play Keontae Ingram in one league because he was the Cardinals' leading running back last week, which Connor out. He had 0 touches yesterday. I just don't understand what's going on. Baseball, I believe Diamondbacks are up on the Phillies as we speak.
4-1.
4-1. Going into the 7th. Game 7 tonight between the Rangers and the Astros. Has the road team won every game in that series? I believe they have.
It might be. Do you remember when we talked about baseball last week and you asked me what my prediction was, who I'm picking to?
Yeah, didn't you say Phillies Astros?
I said Phillies Rangers. And I was feeling really confident about that on Monday. And since then, things have really kind of turned.
Yeah, I'd love for the D-backs. We're sitting in there, and I've been having it on intermittently, and the D-backs will do something, and I'll clap. And Chris will be like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I just don't want the Phillies. I don't want the Phillies to go again." But I feel like it's their year. Even if they don't win tonight, I feel like they're going to win. They've got they're giving me a very Blues 2019 vibe.
Mm-hmm.
They have like a rallying song that they got. What's it called? Dancing in the Dark.
Dancing on my own.
Yeah. Very Gloria-esque. The fans are into it. So I think it's the Phillies' year to win it. But we'll see what happens. NBA starts tomorrow. We don't talk a ton of NBA on this show.
Giannis just signed a 3-year extension.
Massive 3-year deal to stay in Milwaukee. I don't know why anyone would want to live in Milwaukee, but apparently Giannis does. Nuggets repeat. Is that the common pick?
Probably, but I think the 2 teams in the East have done a lot more to improve themselves than anybody else. So
Celtics and Bucks tied for the favorites at plus 380. Nuggets and Suns are next at plus 550. Then a massive drop off. The Lakers are 5th best odds at plus 1300. So it jumps from plus 550 to plus 1300. Warriors right behind at plus 14, and then another massive jump. So it's really like a 4-ish team race right now to 6. Bulls are not anywhere near it, and the Pacers, I guess, are technically closest to us. Plus 26,000 to win the NBA Finals.
Pacers should be our team.
Because it's like right in the middle. Let's see. The Bulls are plus 124 to make the playoffs. The Pacers are plus 118 to make the playoffs. The Bulls do play in Indianapolis next Monday, I think.
Sounds right.
I believe the Bulls play in Indianapolis next Monday.
You want to go?
I thought about it, actually. I did think about it because I've been wanting to go. Last year, I was pissed because they played on New Year's Day, and I was sitting here by myself. Christy was at work. Like, why the frick did I not drive up to Indy and go to the game and come back? So, like I said, I'm actually excited about NBA. I always say that, and then I watch like a week, and then I stop. But I'm actually kind of excited this year, and I don't know why. What do we got? We got Io on the Bulls. That's still the only one, right? I don't think anybody else has made a team. I don't know where Kendrick Nunn is anymore. Did Myers?
Did
Myers hang on anywhere?
Team. I don't think so.
He ended the year last year on the
Pods
on the Warriors. You're right. Yeah, Myers is a free agent. Bucks did not bring him back.
Malcolm.
I think that should be it.
Anywhere?
Malcolm is on the Pelicans G League, I believe. Man, I love his story. I'm so happy for him. He's he's probably top 5 former Illini that I covered. He was there for some bad times, and he was always so nice to us. It says he's on the Pelicans. I don't know if he's on the G League team or the NBA roster, but he said he's still on the roster. So that's good.
Great. ILL.
I'm trying to look that up real quick, and then we'll call it a day.
South Bend Hawkeye asked me for a pizza recommendation. Should I give
those I did
out?
See that. Yeah,
or should I? Is this a no free ads?
Dude. Who freaking cares?
Rocco's Pizza in South Bend. That's my choice. I also like Barnaby's, but Rocco's is my pizza of choice in South Bend. So if you haven't had it, it's pretty delicious. Near campus. If you're still listening, South Bend Hawkeye.
Malcolm Hill is not on the ESPN roster for the Pelicans. So I don't know what that says, but he's not on there. That's one thing, and I think I've told you about this. I don't know that I've said this on the show anywhere. We can't find good pizza here in Louisville.
Yeah.
It's just non-existent. Like, we're getting Jets Pizza tonight. That's a chain. Like, that's the best pizza we found. It's just bad.
I don't love a lot. I mean, there's some decent ones up here, but yeah, there's a couple that there's one that Allison really likes that I'm not a huge fan of, but it's about 30 minutes. It's an Elkhart. It's about 20 some minutes away. But yeah, in terms of in town, yeah, my choice would definitely be Rocco's. So
yeah,
I don't know much about Louisville's pizza, so I can't really contribute to the conversation.
Not much to know. Only other thing that I wanted to say to you, semi face to face, digitally face to face. Jag is becoming a wagon, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah. He's I think he's in a pretty good spot, I think.
Unless someone turns their back on him.
Yeah, he's doing what he needs to do. He went from evicted to saved to I don't know, man. I thought last week was messy. It wasn't all his fault.
I was gonna text you about that.
He had a messy week.
I have the same thoughts I had last week on Big Brother about Survivor, and I know what the answer is, but I just don't agree with it. If you get something in secret, why the hell do you tell the whole house?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, make them think it's someone else.
Yeah,
I just don't get it. The Survivor people
didn't
do that
understand
with community idols, and it blows my mind. Like, they get one, and then they immediately tell the whole tribe, "Hey, I got an immunity idol." Like, it ruins it.
Well, so he didn't immediately tell them.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
I still don't understand what his reasoning was to want to continue to work with Corey in America. Like, get them out. Like, this is your opportunity. And then he didn't. He told the whole house eventually. But I just didn't understand that. Like, I think that was a sloppy week. I think America had a sloppy week.
Yeah.
But he's looking good. So we'll just kind of see what happens. Did you watch last night?
Yeah, I watched it this morning. Yeah.
All right. Yep. So but it's he's looking pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. It's down to 7 now, I think. So
yeah,
double eviction this week too. So
yep. Finale will be the 9th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. No.
Probably shut it down.
Yeah, I got to go have some pizza. Watch some baseball and football. No Illinois football this week. Basketball game Sunday, and then I believe the season starts the following Tuesday. I think
Monday.
The 6th, Monday, 6th or something like that, 7th. So yeah, we're right there. We're right there. I believe we're going to try to do post game shows. We haven't confirmed that, but
yeah, I think we can try to do it for most games. Probably won't hit
yeah,
every game, especially as we get
it's like
closer to the holidays and stuff. But
yes, or if it's like a 10 o'clock Eastern tip off.
Yeah, we may not do that. But yeah, I think that Monday we probably won't do a regular show. Would be my guess. We'll just we'll just do post game. But yeah,
enjoyed it. That's it's 101 of these bad boys.
101 Dalmatians. Crazy.
I used to want a Dalmatian just because of that movie.
Great movie.
Yeah. Cruella, also a great movie. Thanks for watching. That's Logan. I'm Craig. Follow us on our social medias. Like and subscribe. We don't push that button enough. Like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video. All that good stuff. You'll be seeing more of us now that basketball is starting. Remember when after or preseason and after week 1, we were like, oh, maybe we'll do football post-game shows because they're good now and we can talk about it. Nope. That's my best Brad Underwood impression.
You can do that if you want. That's all.
I did one.
I know you did.
I did one, and it was pretty good. But
I'm
then
out.
No, not anymore. All right, we're gonna go have dinner and watch some football and stuff.